There are moments in life when the weight of your pain feels unbearable. You look at the sky and wonder, oh, why me? You pray, you cry, and still silence. The nights stretch long and hope feels distant. But listen carefully, your pain is not pointless. The one who allowed it with purpose. You were never forgotten, not for a single heartbeat. Every trial you face is a message written specifically for your soul. It's not random. It's not meaningless. It's an invitation to rise, to return, to rediscover who you are beneath the layers of fear and doubt. Allah never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear. So if you are carrying it, it means you are strong enough to survive it and to grow from it. When you are tested, it's not because you are cursed. It's because you are chosen for refinement. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is strengthened through fire. The same law applies to your soul. Your hardship is the heat that forges your faith. Your pain is the pressure that shapes your patience. And every tear that falls is watering the seeds of your spiritual growth. There are angels recording your patience. Every moment you hold your tongue when you could have complained. Every time you smile when you want to break. Every prayer you whisper through tears. It's all seen. It's all valued. And one day you'll stand before your Creator and realize nothing was wasted. Not 1 second. You see, we measure life by comfort, but Allah measures it by purpose. You want ease. He wants elevation. He wants elevation. You seek escape. He offers endurance, because He knows that if He gives you everything you want, you'll remain the same. But if He gives you struggle, you'll transform. You'll learn who He is. Ar-Rahman, Al-Latif, Ash-Shafi, the most merciful, the subtle, the healer. Sometimes Allah withholds, not to punish you, but to protect you. He delays, not to disappoint you, but to develop you. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. He is writing a story for you that only makes sense when seen from the end. And the very pain you're cursing today will one day become your biggest blessing. Because pain has a strange way of polishing the soul until it shines with sincerity. So, when your heart breaks, let it. Cracks remind you that light only enters through broken places. When you feel lost, pause. You might not be lost. You might just be redirected. And when you feel like giving up, remember every prophet felt that way too. Yet they endured. Not because it was easy, but because they trusted that Allah never wastes a tear, never ignores a cry, never forgets a heart that believes. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt with divine precision. This storm is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your awakening. The day will come when you'll look back and say, if that pain hadn't happened, I would have never found peace. If that door hadn't closed, I would have never found Allah. So don't curse your pain. Use it. Don't run from your trial. Walk through it. Because one day what hurts you now will be the reason someone else finds hope. And in that moment, you'll realize your pain was never pointless. Your pain was never pointless. It was part of the plan all along. Every pain carries divine wisdom. Nothing you go through is wasted. Sometimes life feels like a storm that refuses to end. You pray for relief, yet the trials continue, and your heart begins to wonder if your cries have gone unheard. But what if every tear you shed, every ache in your chest, every sleepless night was all part of a sacred plan, crafted with precision by the one who knows you better than you know yourself? Pain is not a random interruption in life. It's the very tool through which Allah teaches, shapes, and elevates you. Every difficulty hides a message, a lesson your soul could not have learned in comfort. Sometimes the wisdom of your pain is not immediately visible, because growth often happens underground, inside, before it blooms in light. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and see how perfectly everything fit together. Together. The heartbreak that made you cry taught you empathy. The failure that shattered your confidence built your humility. The loneliness that felt unbearable deepened your connection with Allah. In every hardship, there is hidden mercy, a divine wisdom wrapped inside what seems unbearable. Even when your world feels like it's falling apart, behind the chaos is a gentle hand rearranging your destiny. Allah never wastes the pain of His servant. Every sigh, every drop of patience, every quiet moment of surrender, it's all being recorded, valued, and rewarded, When you realize that your suffering carries meaning, it stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like preparation. Pain cleanses the heart, reminding you how fragile life is and how desperately you need your Creator. It humbles you, softens you, and brings you closer to the one who never leaves. Nothing that happens to you is meaningless. Not the rejection, not the waiting, not the loss. Each one is a divine whisper telling you, I am still with you, even here. So hold on to faith when it hurts, because one day that pain will unveil its wisdom. You'll see that it was not meant to destroy you, but to define you. Not to break you, but to bring you back to Him, stronger, wise, and filled with light. Hardship is not punishment. It's preparation for something greater. There are times when life feels unfair, when you are tested in ways that break your heart and shake your faith. You start questioning why everything seems to fall apart no matter how hard you try. But what you see as punishment is often a divine process of purification and preparation. The pain you endure is not meant to destroy you, but to strengthen you for what's coming next. Every setback, every delay, every disappointment carries within it the seed of spiritual elevation. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can grow into something beautiful, you too must sometimes go through your own seasons of darkness before your light emerges. Allah, in His perfect wisdom, puts you through certain trials not because He is angry with you, but because He knows there is something inside you that can only come alive through struggle. You are being shaped for a higher purpose, molded into the person you are meant to become. The patience you build through hardship, the resilience you develop in pain, and the humility that grows in the face of failure, all of it is preparing you for a blessing that you might not yet be ready to hold. Sometimes Allah closes doors you were never meant to enter and removes people you were never meant to depend on, because He wants your heart to depend only on Him. What you lose in the process may hurt now, but what you gain in faith, strength, and clarity is far greater. Hardship reveals your true self. It strips away the illusions and shows you where your faith truly stands. It teaches you to trust even when you cannot see the way forward. So when life feels heavy, remember, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. Every moment of patience in difficulty is building your foundation for peace. Every wound you endure is creating depth in your soul. You are being trained for something that requires this version of you. Wiser, calmer, and spiritually awake. And one day when the storm clears, you'll look back and realize that every trial was simply a divine rehearsal for the blessing you were always meant to receive. Your tears are seen, your patience is recorded, and your silence is heard by Allah. When you go through pain in silence, when your heart cries but your lips utter no complaint, it may seem like no one notices, but Allah does. Every tear that falls from your eyes is known to Him. Every time you hold yourself together when you feel like breaking, every moment you choose to stay patient when your soul is screaming for relief, it is all written, counted, and preserved in His divine record. You are never invisible to your Creator. Even when you cannot express your pain in words, even when the world misunderstands you, He knows exactly what your heart is carrying. There are times when you speak to no one but still feel a response deep within your soul. That calmness that suddenly settles after prayer, that tiny spark of hope in the middle of despair, that is Allah's way of telling you, cheer you. Your patience in silence is not weakness, it is strength of faith. It is a declaration that you trust the one who sees what others cannot. Well, the world may only see your smile. Allah sees the battles you fight behind it. Which behind? He knows the nights you cry quietly, the mornings you force yourself to keep going, and the moments you nearly lose hope but choose faith instead. Not a single moment of that endurance goes unnoted. Allah promises that nothing is lost with Him. No tear, no pain, no act of patience. Sometimes your silence speaks louder than words because it shows that your trust is greater than your pain. It shows that you believe Allah's justice will come, even if it takes time. And when He rewards you, it will be beyond what you imagine. One day, all that you bore with patience will turn into light on the scale of your deeds. The tears that once burned your eyes will become the reason your heart smiles in peace. So keep going, even when it's silent. Keep trusting, even when it's hard. Because you are seen, you are known, and you are deeply loved by the one who never forgets those who endure for His sake. Delay in relief is not denial. It's divine timing, perfecting your destiny. Often when we pray for something with all our heart and it doesn't arrive, disappointment fills our soul. We begin to wonder if our prayers are being ignored, if our pleas have gone unheard. But what we fail to realize is that delay is not rejection. It is protection and preparation from the one who knows what we cannot see. Sometimes you are not ready for the blessing you are asking for, and sometimes the blessing itself is not ready for you. Allah, in His perfect wisdom, delays the timing so both can align in harmony. The waiting period you despise is often the stage where your soul is being refined, your faith strengthened, and your character purified. You are being molded into the person capable of carrying the gift you are asking for, When a flower blooms before its time, it withers quickly. Likewise, if a blessing comes before you're ready, it can break you instead of benefit you. So Allah withholds not to deprive you, but to prepare you for something lasting and meaningful. Every unanswered prayer is still heard, every delay is still divine, and every waiting heart is still watched over. The silence after your supplication is not emptiness. It is Allah arranging the circumstances of your life in ways unseen. He is removing obstacles, softening hearts, and aligning moments to ensure that when His yes arrives, it arrives perfectly. Sometimes the delay teaches you patience, sometimes it teaches you detachment, and sometimes it teaches you gratitude for what you already have. The pain of waiting is the training ground for trust. You learn that faith is not about getting what you want when you want it, but about believing that Allah's timing is never wrong. There will come a day when the pieces will fit, when you will look back and understand why the delay was necessary. You will thank Allah for not giving you what you wanted when you wanted it, because now you will see how He gave you something far better, something perfectly timed, something worth every second of the wait. True growth happens in hidden moments of struggle, not in ease. The most powerful transformations of the soul occur quietly, away from people's eyes in those late nights of pain and reflection, when only Allah knows the battle within you. It is in hardship that you discover what faith truly means, not just in words, but in surrender. Ease rarely teaches us, but struggle shapes us. When everything feels comfortable, the heart grows forgetful. But when life tightens and pain surrounds you, you are forced to turn inward, to turn upward, and to seek strength beyond yourself. Those unseen moments when you hold back tears, whisper down in silence, and continue moving forward, despite the weight on your chest. Those are the sacred moments of growth. You might not notice it happening, but in every struggle, your heart is expanding, your patience is deepening, and your connection with Allah is strengthening. Growth is rarely loud. It happens like the sunrise, slow, steady, and full of purpose. The world might only see your success later, but Allah sees the endurance it took to get there. Every time you chose to forgive when anger burned, every time you stayed hopeful when everything seemed dark, every time you resisted giving up, you grew. Hardship teaches you humility. It strips away pride, and it reminds you how fragile and dependent you truly are. It softens the heart, making it more compassionate toward others who struggle. It is through your own pain that you learn to understand someone else's. That empathy, that wisdom, that depth of soul, they are the fruits of hidden struggle. You are not the same person you were before the hardship began, and that is the point. The pain that felt unbearable once is the very thing that built your strength today. True growth does not come from comfort. It comes from the cracks where light enters, from the moments when you fall and rise again with faith. So when life breaks you in silence, know that something beautiful is being built within you. One day, that hidden strength will shine openly, and you will realize that your struggle was never wasted. It was your greatest transformation. Pain purifies the heart, removes arrogance, and builds unshakable faith. When life wounds you deeply, it is not to destroy you, but to cleanse what has gathered within. The pride, the attachment, the illusions of control. Pain strips away everything unnecessary until only truth remains. It forces you to see how fragile you are and how much you depend on Allah for every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of strength. Through pain, the heart is softened. It learns humility that comfort could never teach. The arrogance that once whispered, "I can handle it alone," slowly fades into the whisper, "I can't do anything without you." That shift is the beginning of purification. Pain breaks the walls we build around our hearts and lets sincerity flow back in. It teaches you to pray not just out of routine, but out of desperate longing. It makes you fall into sujood with tears instead of words, with a heart that truly surrenders. Those who have suffered know that their deeds in pain are unlike any other, raw, real, and full of truth. And Allah loves that kind of prayer because it comes from the depths of the soul. Pain also builds faith that no book or lecture can give. When you have been through storms and still survived, your trust in Allah becomes unshakable. You no longer just know He is the protector. You have lived it. You no longer just believe He is the healer. You have felt His mercy restore your broken heart. Pain is the path that transforms belief into certainty. Every hardship you endure is like a fire that burns away the impurities of your ego until what remains is sincerity, patience, and gratitude. The most faithful hearts are not the ones that never broke, but the ones that were shattered and still chose to believe. Each tear you cry in hardship washes away a layer of pride, and every moment you choose patience builds a fortress of faith within you. So, when pain visits your life, do not see it as punishment, but as purification. A divine process that polishes your heart and anchors your faith so deeply that no storm can uproot it again. What breaks you today will one day become the story that heals others. Heals others. Every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night you thought would never end is not just part of your story. It is shaping a message within you that someone else will one day need to hear. The pain you are carrying right now is not wasted. It is creating empathy, wisdom, and understanding that only those who have suffered can truly give. One day, when you stand on the other side of your struggle, Someone will come to you lost, hopeless, and ready to give up. And you will recognize the look in their eyes because you've been there. You will speak words that heal because you once needed to hear them yourself. That is the divine beauty of hardship. It transforms you into a vessel of mercy. The same pain that made you cry will become the reason someone else finds strength. Allows you to walk through darkness, not so you remain there, but so you can return with light. What you endure is never just for you. It's a lesson meant to ripple outward. The wounds you carry will teach compassion. The scars you bear will inspire resilience. And the faith you discovered in the valley of despair will guide others who lose their way. Well, pain has a sacred purpose. It turns ordinary hearts into sources of hope. When you share your story, not with pride but with gratitude, you remind others that healing is possible, that brokenness can still bloom into beauty. Your journey becomes a bridge for others to cross. So never feel ashamed of your past or the moments that broke you. They are the pages of a book that Allah is writing through you. The people you are meant to help will not be moved by your perfection, but by your endurance. One day, you'll look back and realize that your greatest gift to the world came from the places you thought would destroy you. Every scar will make sense, because it was not meant to mark you with pain, but to mark others with hope. What breaks you now is building a legacy of light that will outlive your suffering.